In this lesson, we're going to be getting creative with Major Arpeggios. There will be sheet music on screen and full PDFs available via Patreon, as well as backing tracks. You're going to really enjoy this lesson. Arpeggios are a lot of fun and sound amazing. So without further ado, let's get zoomed in. We're going to do this in 5 steps. Step 1, G major arpeggio in a low position. Step 2, a G major arpeggio in a slightly higher position. Step 3, we link those 2 arpeggios together. Step 4, we take the 2 shapes we've just learned and move them into the key of C and D respectively. And step 5, we link it all together so that we can play over the backing track. So step 1, we've got a G major arpeggio in a low position. This is from the E caged shapes, if you're familiar with those, and it almost outlines a standard G major bar chord. And it starts with the 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the low E string and sounds like this. Then, for step 2, we learn a G major arpeggio in a slightly higher position. It starts with the pinky on the 10th of the A string and sounds like this. Once you feel comfortable with those 2 shapes, for step 3, you're going to link them together. Now, when you play the G major arpeggio, the low one this time, what you want to do is make sure that you finish up with your 1st finger on the 3rd fret of the high E here. Because that's the one you're going to be sliding to the 7th fret so you can link the 2 arpeggios. As follows. I'll do it nice and slowly. Okay, and to finish that sequence off, you're going to go 9-7 like this. And that's going to provide the link for the next section we're going to do in a minute. So I'll repeat the thing in its entirety. Low arpeggio, link, high arpeggio, link. So once you've linked those 2 together and you feel comfortable with that sequence, then what you do is you take the G major arpeggio, the low one, and you move it to the 8th fret. So now you're going to do the same shape you did at the start, but 2nd finger is on the 8th fret of the low E. And then that becomes a C major arpeggio as follows. But again, you want to end up with your 1st finger on the 8th of the high E, because you're going to stretch your pinky to the 12th of the high E. So you glue that onto the C major arpeggio. And that's going to provide you half of the link to the next arpeggio, which is a D major arpeggio. So for the D major arpeggio, which is the final part of the sequence, you take the higher G major arpeggio that you learned first of all, and you play it starting on the 17th. Pinky starting on the 17th, and it will sound like this. So all together, for that part of the sequence, so C major arpeggio, pinky on the 12th, slide up to the 17th, and descend the D major arpeggio. And when you feel comfortable with that, you can link the 2 sections together and you've got the full sequence. And it's as simple as that. Sheet music and backing tracks all available on Patreon. I hope you enjoyed this lesson.